Yeah, obviously I feel like from week 1 to week 7, just looking at it kind of from a grand scheme of things, I feel like personally, I feel like I've just gotten more comfortable in the system, more comfortable in my leadership role, just more comfortable in all facets of the game. But at the same time, as good as it is that we're 7-0, I feel like there's so much room for improvement for not only myself but the offense and the team. And so I think that's exciting, and knowing that we got 2 top 10 wins and there's so much room for improvement.
It looked like there were a few throws on Saturday that you didn't put exactly where you wanted. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
How hard are you on yourself when that happens?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, regardless of what any coach has to say, what anybody out in the outside world has to say, no one's gonna be harder on myself than I am. I'm my own biggest critic, and I know if this team is gonna accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, I know I have to take my game to the next level, and so I don't think that's a secret. So I take it as a challenge every single day, just trying out to come and get better.
What does taking your game to the next level look like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a million different answers for that. I think the biggest thing playing quarterback here is just being a leader, getting all the guys on the same page, rallying the troops, when things aren't going great and we're kind of spinning our tires, getting guys going. But then I think just from performance standpoint, just putting points on the board for this offense, and whatever I need to do, whether that's standing in the pocket, making a throw, getting us into the right run check, getting us in the right protection, whatever that is. And I feel like we're taking steps in the right direction, which is the good thing. But at the same time, just continuing to get better off things like that.
The fumble you had in the near fumble, I guess, during the game. Are you trying to pull that back? Did you double clutch because you saw the contact with Marvin down the field? I guess what happened in that play?
Yeah, so Marvin was really the first read on that play, and obviously kind of got held up there. And so I got out of the pocket, trying to extend it, and we were kind of on that fringe range, so I was trying to throw it away and avoid taking a sack, because I feel like if we took a sack there, we'd probably be out of field goal range, so trying to save points. But, I think I have to do a better job of getting rid of that ball earlier, or, if, worse comes to worse, just taking a sack there and, living with it rather than, what could have been a touchdown for Penn State.
There was a play at Purdue where something happened where you were going down and you tried to throw the ball away. I think your knee was ultimately down before you got rid of the ball anyways. I guess how much of a talk is there between you and Ryan about this plays maybe not happening?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's something that I need to eliminate, just plays like that. And, I feel like sometimes, if you make the play, everybody's happy, it's great, but at the same time, you kind of have to weigh the risk with the reward. And I feel like that's part of the game, but that's part of the game that I feel like I need to get better at, and not putting the ball in harm's way, because, if we stay on schedule and, if I took a sack there against Penn State, it would have sucked in the moment, but, they wouldn't have gotten a touchdown. Thankfully, the refs saw the hold, but.
Now, with Carnell, he was the second most targeted receiver on Saturday, I think,
Mm-hmm.
behind Marvin and then Cade, obviously. What goes into forming chemistry with a guy who comes 2 years after you?
Yeah, I think Carnell getting here in the spring helped myself a lot and helped him out a lot too. And, he was advanced from the time he got here. I think everybody saw that right from the jump. And, he had a really good spring ball and got some reps with the ones in spring ball, which helped out a lot. And then he, worked his tail off all offseason, and we got a bunch of reps. And then fall camp, the same thing. So I feel like we definitely made up for that lack of time together just this past 8 months, whatever it was. And then, he's just a tremendous player to be, 18 years old and to be able to step into a game like that and, play really well. And obviously you guys see my trust in him. I target him a few times. So, the future is beyond bright for Carnell.
Was there a moment, whether it be in spring or in the fall, where you're like, okay, this guy's going to be with the ones soon enough?
Yeah, I mean, really when Mech and Julian kind of decided they weren't going to get reps, I forget exactly the reason why in the spring, and then Carnell kind of stepped up into that role right away, and I did a really good job. And I knew right kind of from that first day, just the way he carried himself, the way he ran his routes, the way he talked and saw the game. He was going to be one of them.
And then one more thing. What's it like throwing it against Jermaine?
Yeah, Jermaine is he's probably one of the most competitive kids on the team. And when he got here, it didn't matter if he was going against Marvin or a freshman receiver, he was going to bring the same exact intensity, the same exact focus to every single rep. And that was really the first time I saw a young DB. It kind of reminded me of Denzel's freshman year when he started. He kind of his eyes lit up at the opportunity to play against good competition.
If you were a coach, wouldn't that be what you'd want to see in a cornerback from the get-go?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think cornerback, you have to be a little bit crazy to play. You knowing that you're on an island one-on-one with the best athletes on the world, and it's your job to lock them down. That's tough to do. And, he plays with a bunch of confidence, plays a bunch of energy, so he's going to be really good.
What do you see from Wisconsin's defense? You may have answered this earlier before getting the count, but what just jumps out at you about the way they play?
Yeah, I think Coach Fickle's got them playing really well, and obviously he has a great track record regardless of where he's been. There's been a good defense there, and they're super well coached. You can see that on film, and they have a good scheme on top of that, and they play hard. That's the biggest thing. And, those guys bring it every single play, and that's noticeable in film. And so we know it's going to be a big test going out there on Saturday, 7:30 in a tough environment against a tough defense. So we know we've got our hands full.
Is that near perfect game, or whatever you want to call it, that's still eluding you guys offensively to a certain extent? Is that like a carrot for you guys? How would you explain it?
100%. I feel like everybody knows on offense that we really haven't put together a complete full game yet. And there's been times where we've been rolling and putting points up on the board, and there's been times where we needed to have it and we did. But at the same time, I know that everybody in the offense can't say from quarter 1 to quarter 4 we put together a complete game. So that's still something that we're chasing for.
You were telling last question. The need to understand when to just take a sack and when to try to make a play. Is that for when you're new to this as a guy who's typically been able to make those plays, and especially in high school, is that a difficult thing to try to develop and get inside your head that sometimes you just need to be able to take the sack and live to see another play?
Yeah, I feel like, I said this earlier, it's just about weighing the risk with the reward. Obviously you want to scramble out of the pocket and make those big-time plays and, extended plays and, continue to move the offense, put points up on the board. But, you can't put the team at risk, when you're trying to do that. And if the opportunity presents itself and it's clean, I think you have to take it. But at the same time, you just have to be smart about it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Where are you in that development versus when you first got here as a freshman to where you are now?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things to replicate in practice, because obviously the defense isn't really allowed to touch you or tackle you in practice, whatever. And then once you get in the game, I think you kind of have to just kind of see almost where you're at, in terms of, just making those plays. And, I think there's been times this year where I've done that, and then there's been times where, I should have been smarter and just taken a sack. So I think, right now I have a pretty good balance of where I am. I definitely think learned my lesson from last week and just have to continue to grow up on that.
So is a lot of this just like learning
last question, Bill.
Just learning on the run, just like as you're going through every week?
Yeah, no, I think that's, the more reps I get, the more comfortable I am, the more I know, the more I see, just all that. I feel like in all assets of the game, just the more games I'm playing and the more just opportunity, the better. And so in terms of, what we were just talking about, I think that's just another asset of that.
Maybe you kind of just answered it, but there's certain things you can't learn until you're in the fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the specific things that you learn now through 7 games that, okay, I wouldn't have done this in August, and now I know better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of those things is like when, the offense isn't exactly moving the way you want, for regardless of what reason, being able to kind of rally the troops a little bit. And in practice, if you have a bad period, it's like, all right, kind of put that one behind us and move on to the next period. But that's not that way in the game. In the game, you have to play the next play, you have to play the next series. And I think, being the quarterback, it's extremely important to kind of get all those guys going, get them all on the same page. And, it's something you just can't replicate in practice. And so now I feel like in Game 7, there's been a few of those moments where, we've just been frustrated for whatever reason. And, I've had to kind of step up and just kind of get the troops going a little bit.
All right, Kyle,
Thank you, guys.